League of Legends is by no means a remote topic to discuss when engaging in conversation with people. If you meet a League of Legends fan, you're most likely to talk about a champion's design, including their aesthetic or perhaps their competitive viability. For me, this is where the issue lies. I don't see enough people talk about what makes a champion fun or engaging to play. I think we can all agree that champions such as Irelia are like Meanwhile, champions such as Malphite are like. From the example I just provided, you'd assume that more mechanics equals more engagement. Well, how about someone like Aphelios, who has a paragraph as their passive? I'm sure a lot of you aren't even interested in picking up this champion at all. Does that therefore mean that too many mechanics also corresponds to less engagement? Well, on the contrary, I'm sure that many Aphelios mains will also tell you that mastery of this champion is just as fun as playing someone like Irelia. They're also the fucking kings of Summoner's Rift when they have Gravitum as their primary weapon. So how do we decide what exactly makes a champion fun and engaging to play? Well, I've come up with 3 factors that I believe contribute towards a champion's overall engagement. Number 1. A champion's interaction with the environment. Summoner's Rift's function is to not solely give the players a map to play on, it should have more of a purpose, otherwise you may as well be playing on a JPEG. Some champions which take advantage of certain aspects of Summoner's Rift often feel a lot more immersive or compelling to play due to their interactions with the environment. For example, let's compare 2 supports, Bard and Soraka. To Soraka, Summoner's Rift at its core is solely just a place for the player to position her on. Soraka has 0 interaction built into her kit, so when playing her, Summoner's Rift is nothing but a background and a place to navigate around. All you do is move her. With Bard, however, it's a completely different story. Bard genuinely feels as if he's part of Summoner's Rift because of his interactions. Not only is it now a place to navigate, but it is now a place to take advantage of and utilize to bring out his full potential. This makes the player feel more immersed within the environment, and it's not because of Summoner's Rift itself, but because of Bard's abilities. Another champion that excels at making players feel more engaged because of their interactions is none other than Qiyana. Qiyana makes use of the geography of Summoner's Rift by having her draw an element from either brush, river or terrain. Qiyana's Q then has different effects depending on the element she draws. As a result of such interaction, Qiyana players who make interesting and successful plays are rewarded for not only choosing the correct element, but for mastering the environment they're within. To make plays, they have to not only consider how to use their Q, but how to use the environment surrounding them. This adds an extra layer of thinking onto such a champion, which makes players feel more rewarded for the correct choice. Of course, not all champions need to interact with the environment. There are ways to make a champion more fun to play without this element. For example, Yuumi's entire gimmick is to attach herself to a champion and keep them alive, so it wouldn't make sense for her to draw power from Summoner's Rift. In fact, on that note, it doesn't make sense why Yuumi's in the fucking game. How a champion's abilities reflect their personality, aesthetic and lore heavily influences how appealing they are to play. I mean, the new Brick champion from Riot Games could have top tier abilities, but that won't change the fact that they're a fucking brick. I don't speak for everyone, but a lot of people want to feel as if they're that champion. This is why it's important to have their abilities reflect exactly who they are, and League of Legends does an amazing job at doing this. The best champion to represent this who comes to mind is Draven. Draven is a cocky asshole who fights and performs in a stylish manner, all for the pursuit of glory and fame. His playstyle involves him catching axes and kiting between each attacks, incentivized by gaining extra gold and prolonged strength if he manages to do so successfully. Through this, Draven plays end up looking stylish and impressive, which reflects Draven's lore and personality perfectly. Without a doubt, players get to feel as if they're Draven by playing him in his intended way. His passive furthers this notion, granting gold to players for each impressive action he performs, making players feel rewarded and reflecting Draven's own pursuit for glory. Similarly, Irelia's kit also reflects her aesthetic perfectly. Her personality involves a huge emphasis on dancing, and her playstyle really makes you feel this. Irelia players are encouraged to dash around minions and mark champions with the promise of its cooldown being refreshed, and her stacks are further increasing for more damage. Due to this, when playing as her, you get the sensation of being a dancer, if that's something you've always wanted to feel like. Both of these champions also involve a high level of mastery, which results in a rewarding playstyle, which is my final point. All champions are designed in such a way to make you feel rewarded or skillful for playing that champion. This in turn gives the player some sort of satisfaction, or at least deceives you by making you feel like you're a good player. League of Legends does this through the implementation of skill shots and combos within a champion's kit. Skill shots in particular have several ways to achieve this feeling of satisfaction. For example, within the laning phase, hitting several Ezreal Qs or perhaps Victor E's will slowly drain the enemy's HP, which is usually a good indicator that they're playing the champion correctly. Additionally, champions with global skill shots will get a huge boost in their ego if they manage to land one. This satisfaction is something that point and click abilities can't really achieve unless they rack up big numbers, such as Karthus' ult. Even then, in this scenario, the satisfaction gained from feeling like they did something correctly isn't as big because little skill is involved in pressing one ability compared to aiming and predicting with a skill shot. Furthermore, champions usually always have combos or several sequences of abilities, each being preferred within different situations. Using the correct one of these combos or pulling them off successfully achieves a similar, if not greater, feeling of mastery and satisfaction compared to landing a skill shot. For example, if you're playing Riven and you land your E, ult, flash, auto attack Q, auto attack Q, auto attack W, auto attack Q, auto attack alt, then you most likely listen to this kind of music. I personally think the community of League of Legends is too quick to drive the conversation in a direction which criticizes League for its lack of balancing or skin distribution. The developers of these champions clearly put a lot of thought and progress into how exactly these champions make you want to play more. There's a lot of imagination to ensure that these characters perfectly reflect the aesthetic they're supposed to represent and how they integrate into Summoner's Rift. However, alongside this, there's also careful consideration behind how a champion's abilities or sequence of abilities makes you feel like you're progressing in mastery and reinforces this through satisfaction. Perhaps we don't give Riot enough credit on what they do correctly. A lot of the focus nowadays is on the negatives of Riot. However, without them, we wouldn't have such an amazing game that keeps us coming back for more. Thanks for watching.
Oh, Marlon, you're using a different skin.
I'm a rock man,
Did you get that skin?
ice man.
Did you get glacial ice?
I'm a rock
man?
man.